I woke up this morning and I put my terrible t-shirt on to support the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now I'm in a terrible mood after reading this article. Wilson is very much in play and has the right people's support inside the building to make his return a real possibility, Capoli wrote in a recent article on X addressing the Steelers' quarterback position. He went on to advocate for Fields at the end of that sentence, but the point stands on its own. Are we going to start having to drug test the employees for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the coaches, the coaching staff, Omar Khan? Haven't we seen enough? Haven't we seen enough of Russell Wilson that he's not the answer? Oh, yeah, let's bring back a 37-year-old quarterback who can't throw the ball to the middle of the field and pay him huge amounts of money. You know what? I'm not talking about this anymore. I'm done talking about Russell Wilson. He's not the answer. We've seen enough. What's it going to take to realize that Russell Wilson is never going to win you a Super Bowl? What's it going to take? And remember one thing. Every player in that building, if they're there, that means that Mike Tomlin wants them there. And if the 2025 season fizzles how 2024 went down in flames, then Mike Tomlin needs to be fired at the end of the season next year. I don't want to hear it's not his fault. He couldn't get a quarterback. These are the quarterbacks that Tomlin wants. He wants Russell Wilson. Because what Capoli's saying is that Russell Wilson has the right people behind him in the building. Tomlin has the final say on all personnel decisions. Every personnel decision is made by Tomlin. Then Kordell Stewart chimes in. He says that Justin Fields deserves the opportunity to finish the job with the Steelers. Let's get into this. Justin Fields isn't quite a slash player, but he also isn't the Steelers' first dual-threat quarterback. Before Fields was even born, there was Kordell Stewart, and Stewart is watching what the Steelers do next with a great interest, waiting for the quarterback decision. Last season, the Steelers pursued Russell Wilson in free agency, later trading for Justin Fields as a backup. Due to injury, Fields started the first 6 games of the season. At that point, many felt the Steelers should keep him in the lineup, but Mike Tomlin turned to Wilson once he was healthy. That looked like a stroke of genius at first, but now many argue the Steelers should re-sign Justin Fields instead. You can probably count on Kordell Stewart among them. I personally think Justin Fields deserves the opportunity, considering his job there is incomplete. Stewart told Jason Mackey for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette about the Steelers' quarterback situation. Not against either, would be okay with a competition, but I would love to see Fields have an opportunity to compete for the job again. Wow. I can't believe at this point that we're even having this discussion, that I'm even making this video, that you haven't seen enough to know that Russell Wilson should be let go. I don't know what the Pittsburgh Steelers are thinking. I can't believe this is even still a conversation. I think we should listen to Kordell Stewart. I really do. I mean, I've been saying the same thing since Russell Wilson beat the Jets. Don't believe the Russell Wilson hype. Look at my video. His arm would fade. His legs would fade. He's old. He can't throw the ball. That's exactly what it is. Then I love this comment. Patrick Peterson. Remember, Patrick Peterson played a lot of football. He was in the league 17 to 20 years. Who knows? He's seen every offense that you can see, and he's played at a super high level. He chimes in and says, Patrick Peterson criticizes Steelers play calling for looking like it's still in the 90s. Wow. The hits just keep rolling. Patrick Peterson said, I feel like Pittsburgh needs to shake up the offensive style a little bit. Peter said recently on All Facts, No Breaks with Keyshawn Johnson, the way they're calling plays, it's still in the 90s. Now you want to be a little bit more innovative. I won't necessarily say trick plays, but have a little bit more spice in your offense, a little bit more eye candy, having some motions, having some shifts, and things like that to be able to get your playmakers involved in the game. Well, that's true. I mean, everybody knows you have to scheme to get your wide receivers open. It's not Pop Warner. You can't just line up and our guy's better than your guy, and we're just going to run these routes and dominate you. As much as I would love for it to be that easy, I'm all about execution, but you have to scheme to get your players open. I don't know why the Steelers think that they're, special and don't have to do that. They've been called out by multiple players, multiple coaches, forget media sources. You have Patrick Peterson, an all-pro cornerback who've seen every offense that you could think of that the league can throw at somebody, and he's saying this. Why is he saying this? Did he wake up this morning and say, you know what, I don't like Mike Tomlin, I hate the Steelers? No, that's not why he's saying it. He's saying it because it's true. We're the only team in the entire league that doesn't bring in consultants to advise or come up with new strategies for the offense and defense. And it shows. It shows. How many people are going to say Julian Edelman, Patrick Peterson? I can do a whole list of people that have said the Steelers do the same thing every single week on offense and defense. What did Bill Belichick do? What did Tom Brady do? Every week they had a new scheme, depending on the team they played, going at that team's weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not being a coward, identifying a weakness in the team you're going to play and exploiting it. That's called being a football coach. I don't know. I don't understand how Mike Tomlin can get away with this for just years. We're going on 20 years. You don't call him into the office and say, hey, look, we're going to bring in somebody to give some input, to collaborate, etc., instead of just, because you could bring in whatever coordinator you want. If Mike Tomlin has the final decision on all decisions, it goes back to him. Nope, I don't want it that way. I want it this way. So all these media, you had Rod Woodson. I know Rod lives in California. He drinks that California water. We all know what happens to people in California when they drink that water. Oh, it's not Mike Tomlin's fault. He can't get a quarterback. Rod, he's the one that decides what quarterbacks come to the team. He's the one that decides what quarterbacks are going to be drafted. He could have drafted Lamar Jackson. He chose not to. He could have drafted Jalen Hurts. He chose not to. So what are you talking about that it's not his fault, that he's not winning because the Rooneys don't produce a quarterback? The Rooneys put him in charge. Art Rooney put him in charge, Rod. What the hell are you talking about? I'm not saying this because Cooper DeJean had an interception for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But Troy Fontenot better play well when he comes back from being injured. Cooper DeJean went pick number 40 in the draft. And this isn't me. This isn't speculation. This is coming from insiders at the Philadelphia Eagles. When they put Cooper DeJean into the lineup, their whole defense changed. They started to become dominant. That's coming from Philadelphia. Not its fans, not the media. Philadelphia insiders. Every position is important on an NFL team. But that slot corner, if you don't have that slot corner and teams can eat up the middle of the field on you, you're in big trouble. Huge trouble. And in the Super Bowl, when they took Cooper DeJean out because he hurt his knee for a minute, and they put the guy that he replaced in, what happened on the first play? They went deep for a touchdown. It's like a 70-yard touchdown to Worthy. Hey, I hope that Troy Fontenot plays lights out. I hope he's the best offensive tackle that the Steelers ever drafted in the history of the team. I really do. He's a likable guy. I really wish him well. But if Troy Fontenot is a bust and he doesn't play well, when we already had 2 offensive tackles already for the season, and Mike Tomlin went after another offensive tackle instead of draft, what was the biggest, other than Russell Wilson being horrible, what hurt the Steelers the most this year? Defensive backs, cornerbacks. They couldn't cover anybody. And you had a stud slot corner, who also returns punts and kicks, who's super athletic, was a star at Iowa, Some people might not like him for the wrong reasons. I'm not going to get into the political aspect of what ethnicity Cooper DeJean is, but he can play. He's a hell of a player. And if Troy Fontanano is a bust, once again, the Steelers picked the wrong guy. Mike Tomlin, his track record in the draft is not good at all. I'm not even going to get into all the first-round picks that have been bust. The Kenny Pickett, let's forget all the other picks and look at the Kenny Pickett pick. That sets the organization back years. When you miss on a quarterback, a first-round quarterback, that sets your organization back 5 to 10 years if you can't bring a quarterback in through free agency. And I'm going to leave it at that. I got my terrible shirt on, and now I'm in a terrible mood. This talk of bringing back Russell Wilson needs to cease immediately. Sam Darnold is the answer. He's the answer. You put him in the lineup. He gives you a chance to win every single game. He gives you a chance. He could throw the ball 40 times in a game, no problem, down the middle of the field. He can go blow for blow with a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen. He can put that ball up in the air and let the playmakers on offense make plays on the ball. Russell Wilson does not even give the receivers a chance to make a play on the ball because he can't throw the football.